She lives in a world of Susans. That's what she calls it, the shop, the women, the routine. Every name tag at the nail salon reads Susan, every face framed by black shoulder-length hair, every outfit the same black t-shirt and pants. It's a uniform that flattens the differences between them, a quiet choreography of sameness that the clients never question. To the outside eye they are interchangeable, efficient, polite, forgettable, and that's precisely how she wants it. The woman in charge, never named but always watching, runs Susan, the best nail salon on the street, maybe even in the city. She says so without irony or boastfulness, it's simply fact. She's the one who opens at dawn and closes at night, who never takes a day off and never loses track of what's happening in her space. She keeps the system moving, 4 girls working under her now, Mai, Knock, Annie, and a new one soon to join, Noi. Their names to her are distinct and resonant in the language they share, though to clients they blur together. Clients don't care about who is who anyway. They want hands buffed, feet scrubbed, faces waxed, and voices that make them feel listened to without ever asking for anything in return. The narrator understands this economy of attention, the trade between the invisible and the vain. For her, it's work, orderly, repetitive, contained, nothing like the chaos she left behind. She lives alone above the shop in a one-room apartment with hardwood floors and a crack in the ceiling shaped like a split-end hair. Once there were plants, but they died and she didn't replace them. She doesn't keep things alive, not plants, not relationships, not memories she can't control. Her space is bare, but it's hers. She likes that. She's 42 now and she's made peace with the shape of her life. A family of one, she calls it. No husband, no children, just herself, her business, and the rhythm of her days. It's August, hot and airless, the kind of heat that makes the air feel like the inside of a mouth. But she doesn't open the window. The world outside has nothing to offer her that the shop doesn't already give: purpose, repetition, control. Still, she wasn't always like this. Before she was the woman who ran Susan, she was someone else entirely, a boxer. Her father pushed her into it, convinced she had talent enough to go far, maybe even make the Olympics. She trained hard, fought harder, and just once hit too hard, she put another girl in a coma. Her coach Murch had called her glorious, but she knew better. That wasn't glory. That was ruin disguised as triumph. She quit the sport, or maybe it quit her. The line between those things blurred long ago. The discipline never left, though. Protect yourself at all times, Murch used to tell her, and she's still doing it at the shop, in her apartment, in her head. Even now she scans for weakness, a client's posture, a coworker's hesitation, the flicker of emotion she might need to block before it catches. She reads people the way she once read opponents in the ring. She can tell who's going to hit, who's going to break, and who's just pretending. After boxing ended, she drifted. Small towns, odd jobs, temporary places. Eventually Murch tried to help. He knew a guy whose sister Rachel owned a nail salon and could give her work. That was how it started, 12 years of answering phones, cleaning tools, learning how to make herself small and silent in a world of chatter. She lived with the other girls who worked there, sharing rooms and paychecks. Then one night Rachel told her, "You're the oldest girl here. I don't want to grow old with you." The words didn't land at first. She still felt the same as when she'd started, but Rachel had already turned away. Her shifts were cut, hours trimmed, and soon there was nothing left. "I was spit out of that too," she says, remembering how the world keeps discarding her whenever she grows too visible, too permanent. When she found the shop that would become hers, it was winter. The trees in the park across the street looked like inverted roots, their ends frayed, searching for ground they'd never find. She saw herself in that image, something once anchored, now dangling upside down, and decided this was where she belonged. A place she could build from the ground up, one that wouldn't spit her out. Her mornings begin the same way, the phone ringing downstairs, calling her back to the life she's chosen. At the start of chapter 2, she descends to the shop and turns on the light. The salon hums to life, chairs lined up, stations gleaming, the white leather centerpiece waiting like a throne. Everything is exactly as she left it. Order restored. She checks the computer first, reviewing appointments, scanning for new names or potential problems. She likes to anticipate trouble before it starts, who's experienced enough to handle which client, who might talk too much, who might freeze. She keeps a black logbook beside the computer, her own analog backup in case the machine dies. She pats it like a living thing. Running a salon, she knows, is less about the beauty work and more about managing talk. She remembers Rachel once testing her early on. "What's your take on Bobbies?" "Don't want them." "Affairs." "Don't have them." "Married people." "Wouldn't want to be them." Rachel had laughed, then told her she'd better get used to hearing about all of it: Bobbies, weddings, love, affairs, because that's what clients bring. "They come for the talk," she'd said. "They don't come back for the nails. This shit is our glory." The woman had never forgotten that. In this business, small talk is survival. A customer's confession is currency. The trick is to look interested without ever being changed by what you hear, to be a mirror that reflects, not absorbs. She's good at that. Now she calls Mai the first girl on her team to go over the day's schedule. Mai doesn't say hello, she goes straight to business. What have we got? She demands. The narrator lists the clients. The pitcher, some local celebrity, is booked for his usual hour. Anyone else? Mai pushes. We shouldn't just do his hands, let's get his feet done, pluck his brows, shave his face, book him in for next time. The narrator nods out of habit before remembering that Mai can't see her. Their exchanges are brisk, efficient, half command and half camaraderie. Mai reminds her a bit of Murch, sharp, direct, someone who sees work as a kind of sport. When the narrator first joined Murch's gym, she was the smallest, the least promising, the girl among the boys who all thought they were champions because someone at home told them so. She had no one telling her that. That, Murch said, was what made her different. You get in there and try anyway, he told her. That's what makes a champ. Now, years later, she sees his posts on Instagram, his new itty-bitty, some young boxer he's training. She can't help but look, though she doesn't know why. Maybe it's envy or habit or the ghost of who she used to be. She scrolls through the short clips of the girl shadowboxing, gloved hands cutting through the air, and thinks about how nobody ever posted her story when she was in the ring. Everything she did without an audience. Mai's voice cuts through her thoughts. You listening to me? She asks. Right here, the narrator says. They go over the rest of the day. There's a bridal party coming in, she'll need the extra girl for that and a few regulars, Marla, Janet, the waitress, a new client named Vanessa, maybe a few walk-ins too. In and out, Mai says, echoing the mantra that keeps the place running. 20 minutes max. The narrator doesn't answer. You listening? Mai repeats. Right here, she says again. Before hanging up, Mai reminds her about the new girl, Noi. Just tell her what to do, she says. If she doesn't do it, we'll get a new one next week. That's how it works here. No attachment, no second chances. The machine keeps moving and anyone who can't keep up gets replaced. After the call ends, the narrator pictures Noi in the shop, quiet, thin-shouldered, moving quickly, careful not to bump into anything. She remembers their interview. The girl had been 19, barely out of childhood, with no experience. She admitted it right away, her words spilling out like someone confessing a crime. She had a baby, she said, and the father was married to someone else. She had no family, no one to help, and just wanted to work. That was enough for the narrator. Anyone who can tell you their life story in the first 5 minutes, she believes, is someone who can survive in this business. You can't teach that kind of openness. You can't teach the hunger that comes from having no one. It's the same hunger she once had in the ring, the need to fight, to endure, to find a way to stay standing when the world keeps spitting you out. In her shop of Susan's, she's built a life that looks steady, clean, controlled. Beneath that, though, runs the same pulse that once drove her fists, the need to anticipate every blow before it lands. She doesn't say it outright, but everything about the way she runs the salon, her watchfulness, her precision, her refusal to let anyone too close, reveals that she's still a fighter. Only now her ring is smaller, her gloves invisible, her victories quieter. Each day begins with the same ritual, turning on the lights, checking the schedule, making sure every Susan is ready. And each day ends with her locking the door, climbing the stairs to her empty apartment, and lying beneath that ceiling crack that looks like a split-end hair. The world above her and the one below blur together, two small boxes stacked on top of each other, one for living, one for working. Between them she keeps her distance. She always has.